Well, hey everybody, let's go ahead and get this going. So thanks for coming to my first live streaming event. Um, so we'll see how this goes. Hopefully, I can be as entertaining as Jason normally is. Um, Before we get started, let's see who's on. Let's see, we've got and you guys are gonna have to forgive me. I don't know anybody's first name by their or hardly anybody. We got Fultz Bailey here, John, Mason Dixon Railroad, Schuylkill River Valley is in here. Let's see, Artie coming in, Sidetrack Mike, Mr. Jimbo Trains. I'm guessing that's Jim. Is the name there. Derail Daryl is in. Who am I missing? Curly Express, Dwight coming in. Robert. Hey, Robert. Oh, a little bit of a tough loss there just a few minutes ago. So I don't know if any of you guys are football fans, but if you watch the channel, you probably know I'm a Chiefs fan. So, yeah, not awesome to lose at home against the Bills, but we'll probably face them again in the postseason. So hopefully we can clear it up then. We got Gerald Eames, Follow the Frisco, and who else do we got coming in? Try Goglin. I don't know that I know. I've met you guys before. Yeah. Robert, I changed out of my Chiefs shirt, so I've got brand new white Riverline T-shirt. So I've gone ahead and launched a merch shop where you guys can pick up some white Riverline gear if you're interested in that. So I think we'll get the post here or the link here in the chat in just a second. So, yep, there it is. So, yeah, go check out the new merch shop. Get some T-shirts. I got some hats, stickers, shirts, hoodies, that sort of thing. Hey, Yukon, thanks for joining. Glad to see you here. Caboose 121 showing up. So, yeah, thanks everybody for showing up. So, as you saw on the title of the show, I'm going to be building a 2-bay covered hopper. Let me grab that kit real quick. So I'm going to be building this guy here tonight. So this actually is the kit that I'm giving away. I'm going to go ahead and build it for whoever might be the winner. If you guys haven't heard, I've got a giveaway going on the channel, and I will be, once I reach 2,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away actually a couple of these. Let me grab the other one. So, as you can see, the lighting's not awesome on this one. Let me change. So you can see that a little bit better that way. So I've got my, I've got this 2-bay covered hopper. It's a Bowser. I bought these like, I don't know, 15 years ago or more for a layout that I was working on then. But I changed the time period that I'm going to be working on those. And so, I changed the time period for my layout, and these don't fit with the time period anymore. So I decided, what the heck? Let's have a giveaway on the channel, getting to 2,000 subscribers, and let's give away a couple of these. So actually, let me pull this back out. So the one I'm building tonight, that's the second prize, and that one's going to be for the one I'm building tonight is the second place prize. So I'm just going to build it, leave it up to whoever wins that one to do their own paint, whether if they want to replace the road that it's on or something like that, then they can do that. This piece actually, right now it's kind of the Frisco color schemes. So gray for these covered hoppers, but I didn't get any further than that other than assembling it and putting that base paint on. But I will, for our first place winner for this one, I will go ahead and paint, whether if you want it in a different road, I'll go ahead and do that for you too, assuming I can get the decals for it. So, but for tonight, I've got this guy that I'm going to be building here in a little bit. So, but first, what I thought I would do is do a little bit of some unboxings. But let me see. Let me grab those here in a second. But let me put up a. So last week I went to Chicago for some work stuff, and I thought, what the heck? While I'm there in Chicago, I'll go ahead and see if I can find a train shop that I can stop by while I'm there, and see if there's anything I can get. So I found one called Zyntech Model Trains or Model Railroad. I don't remember which, and it was about a 20-minute drive from the hotel. And so I went by and visited that. And the place was really kind of a trip here. So here's one of the photographs I took. And if you follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, you can see there's another one I posted there that's not too different from this one. Has anybody been to this Model Railroad shop in Chicago? Zyntech Hobbies. So it's just in an old owner told me this used to be a tavern, so you can see the bar back here, and now it is just chock full of mostly rolling stock, and I didn't see too much rolling stock that was any newer than say 10 years old. So but this was just the first floor. There was a second floor that looked about the same. Just stock full of old, rolling stock kits mostly. Some ready to roll and that sort of stuff. So, but quite an interesting building. So you're just in Chicago. What were you doing in Chicago? That was really my first time in Chicago. I'd been there a while back, and but was really just on the outskirts of town in the suburbs. But I was downtown on the what do they call it? The Miraculous Mile near Navy Pier, and it was actually a really cool city to go. I was pretty busy. I was glad to be able to go there. John, you've been to Lombard and Des Plaines Hobbies. I don't even remember seeing that in the list of them, but yeah, maybe next time I'm in Chicago I'll have to go check those out. So yeah, it was an old building. I'm not quite sure how old the building was. That bar looked like it was actually in pretty good shape, but just had stuff all over it. So the upstairs was like where the old living quarters would have been for whoever owned the bar, and so he'd converted that all into space for stuff up there. It was pretty big. So yeah, Tom's Hobbies. Well, of course, I've never been to Australia, so I've never been to that one. But yeah, we used to be really blessed here in Denver with the world's largest train store, Caboose Hobbies. It was down on Broadway. And actually, that came up in my conversation with Mr. Zintek that owns the hobby shop there. So he's said his son had visited there a while back, but if you guys anybody has ever gotten a chance or got a chance back in the day to go to Caboose Hobbies and check it out, it was a pretty awesome model train store. They sold it off a few years ago when it moved, sold off the stock, and then COVID just kind of killed it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up some of these. I bought about 5 kits there. I typically like to buy kits and build myself rather than buy ready to roll, because most of the time I like to do ready to roll, or excuse me, I like to do kits rather than ready to roll because I'm gonna do the paint mostly anyway. So, but I'm gonna see if I can fix this lighting situation over here a little bit with the overhead cam. So give me 1 minute. So we'll see if that works. That looks any better. So one of the first kits I picked up, probably you guys are gonna recognize, Tichy Train Group. I really like to do these kits. I don't know if there's any other Tichy fans. I don't know if there's any other Tichy fans. It's okay. I haven't been to Australia, Daryl. There's a big kangaroo there named Artie. Okay. Oh, hey, Heath. Heath showed up. So you get back from the railroad. So, Fred. Yeah, I am in the Denver area. I am not aware of Sparky's meet in May. If you're on Facebook or Instagram, why don't you, once you email me or DM me either on Facebook or Instagram, give me some more details. I'd be interested in check that out. So, yeah, let's see. Split Rocks talks about the Tichy kits being complicated, and I don't necessarily disagree with you. There's a few things that there's things that I really like about these kits, but there's some things that I'm not, I've had some that are kind of brittle, getting the small pieces off. I've broken some and I had to rebuild and some stuff like that. So let me see if my overhead cam is looking any better. So, yeah, Tichy, I like their stuff. It's one of the first places I check for scratch building supplies and stuff like that. So, and the main reason I picked this one up is you can kind of see that we've got some old art here on it. The copyright on it says it's from 1986. And so we got a kit here that's, 30 years old or more, 35 years old. And I wanted to see kind of if there were really any differences between their old kits and their new kits. So I picked this one up, and probably what I'll end up doing is picking up one of the new kits. I don't know if they've updated anything on it, but I thought it might be an interesting video to kind of check out the new kit, check out the old kit. And I actually haven't built this exact kit from Tichy before. What I have bought is their converted cement car. So, and I've got a video on the build and weathering of that. But that's one that I have built. But I thought I would just check this one out, see what's changed in the last few years. if they've changed anything on their kits at all. So look for a video coming out probably in the next year or so. I've got a lot of other work I need to do, but on other stuff, got to get some track laid and some things like that. So look for a video on that coming up in the next year or so. So Jimbo never built a rolling stock kit before, and I actually really, like I said, I prefer to build my own kits. And I think that's probably just, I started modeling really doing model cars. And so I just kind of enjoy that process of putting stuff together. So I think that's probably why I just, when I moved over to doing railroading, I stayed with the kits. I think that probably at some point I may give a stab at trying to do a scratch build on some rolling stock. It's an HO scale kit, Heath. So the HO kit is HO scale. So not for you. It's going to be too big because you do in scale, right? Yeah. So Randall, you build mostly AccuRail and a Therna Blue Box and Scale Train classic kits. So that is one of the other kits that I bought is Atherin kit. So this one is also just a 40-foot boxcar kit. These kits are, and all of these came from an estate sale that I bought. So Zyntech looks like he mostly buys up collections, estate sales, and then sells them in his shop. It was actually, he was cash only in the shop too. And I don't carry cash, so I had to walk like 3 blocks down to a convenience store to get to an ATM to get some cash to purchase these. So this one looks like it's actually already got the walkway on top. And if you're, like I said, if you're interested in building kits, these are kind of a good place to start because they're dead simple. So you've already got pretty much everything constructed. You don't have to deal with the wires like you do with Tichy Train Group. You kind of just put in the bottom and put on a couple of doors and it's done. So I Dan, you said that they carried some Tichy kits and you balked at the price of picking them up. I've seen it to be pretty affordable. I think that, around $17 a piece for the new kits. Certainly a lot cheaper than the ready-to-roll stuff. Not a whole lot of variety in what they offer, but most of those kits fit the era that I'm modeling, so I like them. So those are 2 pretty normal plain kits that I picked up. And so yeah, Randall, I don't think that they have too many of the modern cars. They got some flat cars, but even those I think are kind of the older style. So makes sense for me since I'm using some of the my era is like the 1930s. So the other thing that I picked up is I tried to find some unique pieces or stuff that I couldn't find. I'm not much for eBay. Yeah, Container Mania, another new guy. Yeah, the freak can't make it in when he's supposed to. I think he got busy this weekend with some family stuff, so he asked me to come in and cover for him. So, Yeah, he'll be back next month, and we'll see what he does. We've chatted a little bit about me being on that show too, but we'll see if that works out or not. Um, so, so the other kit I picked up, and can you make that out? It's from Smoky Mountain Model Works, which is not anybody that I had ever heard of before. And it's a wooden caboose kit, and I haven't even really unwrapped it very much. I did a little bit at the shop, but I found quite a few of these with this wrapped up in paper like this, and I guess that's something they used to do. But this looks like this is unusual. Let me get this all. Let me get these all out. So, all of this flashing stuck on the side is kind of odd, and I'm not sure. I guess I'll just go after that with an X-Acto knife. But we've even got pieces that are whole like this, and I don't know how brittle styrene gets after a period of time. If that is a thing that happens, has anybody experienced that? So if you have, let me know. Just put something in the chat. But this kit, we've got detail parts, and these actually look, now that I look at these more closely, and let me see if I can get this in the screen a little bit more. These look exactly like Tichy details in this kit. So, kind of interesting. But this actually, I did pull out the instructions on it, and it's got quite a bit on the instructions. But one of the things that I liked about this kit, let's see if I can find that. So if you'll see here on the instructions, it's talking about different styles that you can build this in. Early cars, there's a rebuilt style that you can do, and so I thought this would be kind of a fun, interesting kit. It calls itself a craftsman kit, but it's got a lot of details in it. So I'm thinking this should be a pretty fun, interesting build, and I don't have a caboose yet, so I thought this could be really interesting. So you think it's resin casting, Roy? Maybe so. Once I dig into the instructions, I may find out for sure if it's resin casting or not. Well, let me see if it says it on there. So, yeah, second vote here from Split Rock on resin castings. This kit contains cast polyurethane walls to speed assembly. So I'll have to do a little bit of research on that and see what kind of glue. They're recommending super glue, ACC adhesive. So I typically use, well, all the kits that I do are styrene, so I typically use just styrene cement. So, yeah, and I don't know how old this kit is, really, and how long that they've been doing resin on kits. So good to have a caboose. I also bought this kit from Walthers, and it's a work transfer caboose, and I don't have any idea why I picked this one up, because I'm not even sure if this is going to fit with the era that I model, but I thought it looked interesting and unusual, and I don't know, but part of the reason I picked it up is because it was only $7. So you know, for $7 I can probably figure out somewhere to do it, but it's part of a series that Walthers did on work. So they've even got a picture here of the whole series on there. And I don't know when these would have been used. I probably could do some research and figure it out. But I just thought it was unusual and inexpensive, so I figured it out. So super glue, the CA glue works best for the resin. So I'll give that a shot. So typically they're small run kits, Fred. I think that makes sense. I don't know, again, if anybody's ever heard of that Smoky Mountain Model Works company or not. I haven't seen them around, but if they're limited run, that could be interesting. Could be why it was one of the more expensive ones that I bought. All right. Next, from that, and you know, I may need to get some feedback from Heath on these unboxings. I kind of feel like I'm just like speeding right through them, and that seems to like be counterintuitive to the or at least counter to what I've seen on Heath's channel as far as how you do an unboxing. I think you're supposed to draw it out as long as possible. Is that right? Okay, so this one is Blueprint series by Branch Line Trains. Again, I don't know how old this kit is, but it kind of piqued my attention, and it could just be that I liked the color on the outside. So split rock, really nice kits, good for NMRA judging models. Plenty of details. Way too fast. Container Man, I'm going way too fast on there. Hey, we got an appearance by Jason coming in. Welcome in. Glad you're here. I can get your feedback at the end, see how well I filled in for you. So, if I can... Oh, let's go. I hate those. I fought with that when I was looking at it at the store. But, so here is... And this is a reefer kit. Says it's from the 1920s, 40-foot wood reefer. Again, not sure it really fits with my railroad with the Frisco. I don't know if they used anything like that. My philosophy so far with the railroad is to not really care that much. Oh, okay, scroll up at that hi comment, and I missed an important message. Let's see. Let me scroll up and find it. Branch line kits are very detailed.
Above that.
Is it even further above that?
Yes.
Oh, let's see. Speed is great. Okay. Yeah, don't do a Heath unboxing. You're welcome, Train Freak. All right. So I do have a request from Container Man on to slow down on my unboxings. Is that the one you were talking about? Okay. Yeah, well, maybe Jimbo says maybe I could teach Heath how to do some unboxings. So, do you think I found it? I'm talking to my moderator here.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, good. Okay. So the Blueprint series. Randall, you've done a couple of these. Kind of intimidating at the amount of detail parts. And I've worked through that somewhat with the Tichy. With the Tichy stuff. Okay. What do I call these then, Heath, if they're not unboxings? So, I mean, do I need to have another box over the top for it to be an unboxing, Heath? So, yeah, lots of details on these. This has got yeah, I'm just going to dig into, again, another one of these with the wrapped in tissue paper. So I almost always have to, so you think this is too small? Okay, I'll try and change that for the next time. Okay, that's great. Okay, yeah, so thank you, Robert. So there's a St. Louis Car Company decal from the St. Louis RPM meeting that should work with the branch line kit. I have a set for you. Okay, we'll be in touch about that. So the detail on it, I kind of like that. I get a little frustrated at times with them, but I really do like the detail on it. Let me see if I can make this bigger. See if that'll show up. Yeah, a little bit bigger now. Does that work? Okay. So like I said, the detail I do really kind of like. I like the challenge. I think it's interesting. I like that it looks better than just the molded on detail. Yeah, I kind of find it fun. Get this out of here. So the body, some of the trucks, and then again all of those details. And it looks to me like rather than molding in the color, that they've done some paint on these. And perhaps it was, and it could be that the paint was done, since this is used, it could be that the paint was done by whoever owned this kit originally. So that may be what's going on with it. But I'm sure that I'll do whatever paint I want on it once I get that figured out. I'll have to try and find some prototype pics out there and see if I can find anything that'll match up with the Frisco. and get that figured out. But the one thing that I always run into with the era that I model with the Frisco is because I'm doing the 1930s, and so I have trouble finding. Well, there's no color pictures out there for reference for my prototype pictures, and so I kind of have to. I don't know. A lot of times I find for the weathering piece, I just find pictures from any sort of railroad out there, and try and match something that's kind of like that, and then just go with the color scheme that I know is out there, and go from there. But it is. I don't know. I mean, like there's a pretty active Frisco railroad forum that I go to, and that Robert, who's here, is a member of, and awesome archive of photos there. But it's hard to find stuff with Frisco on it, so I have to build everything kind of myself to begin with. And I don't know if anybody else is kind of in the same situation with the road that they model, but I have difficulty finding everything that fits. Let me go grab one of my gondolas and I'll give you an example. So, I've got this gondola that I couldn't even find decals that would work for this. I bought some gondola decals. They were a little bit from a different era. And let me see if I can get that a little bit closer and get some light on it so you can see. But the Frisco on it was not the right size. It was too big. And so I just ended up making some stencils and stippling on white paint with the stencils to get the logo on this car because I couldn't find the right ones. And I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. So in the end, not a big deal, but yeah, that was a little frustrating. All right. So Lynn, you've got a video of your Frisco. If you've got it up on YouTube, go ahead and put that in the chat here. I'd like to check that out later. So again, I don't run into a whole lot of Frisco modelers unless I'm really kind of seeking them out. So, okay. Well, let me fix a camera real quick here that went off for some reason. And let me see if I can get that one working again. Yeah. Okay, that's good. And so I thought, everybody good with those unboxings? Is anything anybody else wanted to see, since I did go through them pretty fast? I'll give you guys a second. Any other details people want to see? Okay. So, like I said, what I thought I might do is get started on this build. And if you weren't here at the beginning of the railroad, or at the beginning of the railroad, if you weren't here at the beginning of the episode, I talked about this is a giveaway that's on my channel. Little promo that I'm doing, trying to get to 2,000 subscribers. So once I get to 2,000 subscribers, I'll go ahead and randomly pick somebody who made a comment on my last couple of videos. And the first place winner will receive this car with whatever road that they want. I'll paint and weather it. Send me a prototype picture, and I'll do it. So Derek says it was only fast because they're used to Heath's unboxing, which take about 4 hours. Yeah, I was giving Heath a hard time about that this week because I was watching a replay of his Sidetrack Sunday from last week, and yeah, I was watching the replay of his last week, and I kind of have to consume my YouTube videos during my lunch hour, and I don't always have a ton of time. Work's gotten really busy the last little bit, but yeah, I was giving Heath a hard time because he I think he took about 30 or 45 minutes to unbox something on his last episode. All right, yeah, that's the Jason, that's exactly what Heath told me. And so I guess that means that if either one of you guys win, I need to figure out where I can buy custom decals. I know they're out there. Yeah. Looks like I missed a comment here from Artie. Yeah, the 1930s, so Depression era is the era that I model, and some of that is really just kind of me making up stuff, frankly, because most of what I'm seeing around the Friscos, they were not super active during the Depression era. They, like, most of the country here in the U.S. Wasn't a whole lot of commerce going on, and so they were, after the Depression, they kind of they came back in force, but during the Depression there wasn't a whole lot going on with the Frisco. So again, I kind of picked that era mostly because I like the aesthetic of it, and that's kind of what guides me for the most part on most of my modeling. I'm not much of a stickler for historical accuracy. I like to make stuff that I think looks cool. So yeah. Let's go ahead and get started on it. So yeah, I've seen those kits. So Yukon from Center of the Earth Mining says you can make your own decals. I've watched videos on it. It was on Ron Strain's things, and I've seen those in the hobby store, but it looks like they require a laser color printer, and I don't have one of those. I don't actually have any working printers right now because I hate printers and they're the worst. So what is a typical Frisco steam engine for your line? I've got one locomotive right now. I have a 280, a Baldwin consolidation, and that's the only one I've got. And I really haven't done the proper research just yet to figure out what I might get next. So because I haven't had the budget to spend on a new locomotive, I've been spending it on more of the layout and the stuff like that. But so I'll do more research and figure that out. I actually, my next project, locomotive wise, is to install DCC on the one I've got. So thanks, Robert. Yeah, just be in touch. Let me know where I can get those. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and get started. We'll see how far we get on this project tonight. Locomotive question from Randall. Do you have a 1522 on your layout? I don't think so, because I don't even know what that is. But I'm sure that somebody here can tell me for sure. Okay. All right. now, Jason, you're going to get me in trouble. So Jason says that the hobby shop in Jacksonville, Arkansas has several brass Frisco prototype steam locomotives from an estate. And yeah, I don't know what those are going to cost. My understanding is the brass locos could be pretty expensive, but if you're in there next time, just shoot me. My moderator, who's my wife, says, "How much is that? How much is that going to cost?" Yeah, that would be a good fit. Okay, awesome. Yeah, and it's one of the things that I feel I'm lacking on in this hobby is that I just am not. I don't know that much about trains. I kind of just like model trains. I mean, like I was fascinated with seeing layouts when I was a kid that adults had done that were really detailed, and I growing up in Springfield, I was near the train tracks a lot. Grew up, houses that were just blocks away, and kind of liked that stuff. But I'm I'm not even really sure where to start with a lot of the research to know details specifically about the Frisco. So that's one of the things I need to improve on is just know some more of that stuff. Okay, so here in the kit, let me pull that up. So hi, Mrs. Drew. She says hi back.
Hi.
So, Jason, there's like 20 locomotives, all brass, some painted, some not. I think it would be fun to get one that's not painted and kind of do that from scratch. So maybe next time you're there, shoot me some pictures and we could work something out. Or next time I come down that way, I could check it out. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab all these parts, and we'll see how far I get here on this. I don't think it's a terribly complicated kit. One thing I'm not finding as I dig into this, there they are. There they are. I was worried there for a second that I didn't have the weights for it. And like I said, I built one of these, but it was, again, more than 15 years ago. I had a little bit of a false start with some of the model railroading. I started layout in a townhome we used to live in, and then we started having kids, and I didn't have time to do it. And actually, I built it so that I couldn't get it out of the basement of that townhome when we had to move. So, yeah, I lost all of that. Well, I lost quite a bit of that, but this is one that I had built for that. But now that I'm looking at these instructions, and maybe you can't see that very well. Maybe that's a little bit better. Yeah, my wife said I could get them in front of us, but it might be a little bit awkward later. Yeah, I gotta wait till it's in the budget. So these these instructions are not exactly real clear. They're pretty concise. So, I guess we'll just get into it here a little bit and see how far we can get. Okay, so install the brake gear to the underframe. And this light, see if I can move it and get something a little bit better. Maybe this angle will be better. So, okay. Go ahead and get this underframe clipped out. And it looks like I'm going to have to go with the heavy duty ones on these. Yeah, most likely. I mean, I have like a big collection of the Katie ones. I don't know for sure. Well, I don't know if I will on these since they're giveaways or not. You know, if you guys have recommendations for particular wheel sets to use, that's another thing that I need to do some research on and figure out what to get. So these, and I'm going to be out of focus there. So these, I've got two types of clippers, the kind of the standard ones, and then I picked up these kind of mini clippers from Micromark, and I actually really like those. The Intermountain wheel sets, John, are the ones that you prefer. Oh, let me make that bigger here too. Again, I'm back to the small one. All right, a little bit bigger there. Intermountain wheels are the go-to. Buy a pack of 100 wheels. Okay, yeah, I'll definitely check that out. But yeah, these little nippers are the ones that I really prefer. And I can get in some tight spaces with them, stuff like that. And I also use just plain emery boards most of the time for my filing on this stuff. I don't know why I prefer those. I guess I like the wide surface on it. And I've got some of these like little sanding sticks that I picked up from the hobby shop, and I'll use those sometimes, but most of the time I use these. And I think they mostly do pretty quick work of molding lines and, you know, anything from the sprues that are still on there. So, all right. So the first step, it says, is to install the brake gear to the underframe, and I need to just actually figure out what the brake gear is before I do that. I stole my wife's emery boards. Actually, my wife would never use these emery boards. These are way too flimsy and cheap for my wife to use these emery boards.
I have a built-in person for that.
So, and actually, my daughter is a cosmetologist, so we've got the connect for all of the really good emery boards. Like there, because there's such a thing, I guess. But, uh, but yeah, these I like. Again, I don't know. I like how they fit in my hand. I like the fact that you can cut them really easily with just scissors, and if I got a narrow spot, I can cut them and put them in there. Okay, so the brake gear, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not quite sure which one of these things is the brake gear. Somebody could probably tell me here that knows more than me. But I guess to the undercarriage. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll just start gluing stuff on here and see how it goes. Right. And I actually was having some discussion the other day with some folks about what their preferred brand of or type of cement is, and I almost always use the Tamiya extra thin cement on almost everything. I got some from Plastistruct a while back, and I did not like it. Yeah. Okay. Now my wife's getting into it in the chat. We're phasing 5 cents on every emery board with our cosmetology connection, and that adds up over time. So that's good. Who is Emery and why is she making boards? That's a good question, Heath. Let's see. I've got Split Rock talking about what he sees on my board. Yeah. 1, 2, 3 blocks I use all the time. Lots of forceps, a square. Yeah. Kind of the standard stuff, isn't it? So, Jason, you like the Plastistruck, and were we having that conversation over on the Discord server about that? Because there were several people over there that were like, I like the Plastistruck, and I found that, I don't know, like I have to use more of it or something like that for it to really fit or to really adhere properly. So I kind of just don't use it. It's kind of my backup. And I started using the Tamiya when I was doing cars, so I just kind of stuck with it. And so Split Rock asks, what was Humanity Junctions? What was Heath's term for a paint tray? A pallet. That's what I call it. But what did Heath call it? Okay, now here's my wife getting into it again as my chat moderator. Which one fixed broken glasses? Because I've broken 3 pair of glasses in the last 6 months, and like clear Gorilla Glue. I ended up, yeah, clear Gorilla Glue. So is that a CA glue or what is it? Because I ended up using epoxy. I bought some CA glue and it didn't work very well, and then I used some epoxy, 5-minute epoxy. But the 5-minute epoxy just like it's all clumpy, and I hope I don't look like, you know, a real geek with broken glasses on. So I'm wondering, like I said, the first instruction said to install the brake gear to the underframe, and I'm not even sure that's exactly what I'm doing. But I'm getting these detail parts on regardless. Which direction does this one go? I hear you over there.
They think I'm funny.
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad that you guys are finding my wife entertaining.
I think I'm funny too.
She thinks she's funny too, she says. So she's, yeah. I knew this was going to be a mistake having her down here. Okay. Okay. I've got some things that might be the brake gear that I've installed to the underframe. I think that's right.
You're putting your head too far forward.
Oh, I got my head too far forward. Okay. Evidently I'm blocking the shot too, so. Okay, now wait a minute. I know this is true, but you know, you guys don't need to bring it up here. I kind of hear that all the time. Need to get my brown spots checked out on my head. Okay. Get to the what are those called? Dermatologist. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I've got that brake gear installed, and now I'm supposed to do the end brace on there. Thankfully, it has a number on it. 42726. Okay. Okay, And I need to pay attention to which direction I put this in. It's got a little notch at the top. Is my head in the way again? No? Is it good? Oh yeah, because I've got that other which camera angle am I even on? Okay. Set that aside. I've got that brace there. Conceivably in the right spot. And install brake lever to the undercarriage. 74 274. This piece here. So 90% of the people in this hobby are middle-aged bald guys with glasses. And I definitely fit that. I also, I track my demographic numbers a little bit on Facebook. And I think that it doesn't tell me who has glasses and who is balding or not on those demographics. But it's definitely middle-aged guys that are watching the show. That's for sure. Okay, so now let's see where this piece fits in. It goes right here. Right?
Every time you lean over like that.
Transition to this and see if fits in that notch. That's why the notch is there. I just noticed some mold lines here on the bottom that are causing it not to fit in the slot that it's supposed to here below. It still doesn't quite want to go. And these are the detail pieces that when they don't quite fit it can be the most frustrating. I mean, well, my camera turned off again. And the balance, in my opinion, is trying to get them to fit right, not file them out of shape, and also not break them. And this piece doesn't want to fit real well into the base and fit that notch at the same time. So what I may end up doing this one is using my thicker cement. And I like to use the thicker cement in some cases if I need a little bit more working time with it, and it also tends to be a little tackier, and like what I'm hoping that I can achieve here is just putting the bottom part in, that I can get it to kind of stick. But it's still not wanting to do it. Okay.
You didn't break the brakes, did you?
Not yet. My wife asked me just now if I broke the brakes.
Split rock without stuff.
Oh, Split Rot did?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the hole's the right size. I see. Jason says sometimes I have to use the X-Acto to get it right, and sometimes that's the case. This one, the hole isn't the right size, but it isn't the wrong size, but it is sure being stubborn. I think part of the issue is this may be a little bit out of alignment. But once I get it, it'll go. Okay. I'm going to switch back over to my thin cement. Get this piece in place and glue the top, because the bottom I think is good now. It is at the wrong angle. Get a little bit there. I think most of my glue had evaporated off the brush by the time I actually got it in place. This looks about right. Yeah. Okay, let's set that to the side, let it cure for a second. Okay.
They're watching.
Shout out to Marcia and Stacy, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law. Glad that they joined. I've got some really good support from my family. As you might imagine, my mom and dad have been watching from the start, and so it's a lot of fun. All right, now on to something that should hopefully be a little bit easier. And that is one more of these braces that actually goes on the body. So one brace looks like it's installed on the underframe. The other brace is installed on the body. And it's oriented right. It needs to go up into here. And it fortunately has some little rails in here that it goes in. So I should be able to get that hopefully in place somewhat easily. get these edges touched up a tiny bit because it's a little bit long. The producer is my wife. She's taking care of the chat for me.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks, Jason, for dropping in. Thanks for thinking of me for hosting this. So I appreciate it. Maybe I can get on your show again soon. We'll see. All right. Content rich for Sidetrack Sunday. I'm not really sure what that means. Like, and it kind of makes me worried. I'm going too fast or I'm doing too much here. Let's see. Nope, didn't like it that way. Another way. One of the things I'm struggling with here is that because this is a streaming video, my lighting setup is a lot different than whenever I am shooting my regular videos. And so I don't have the light exactly where I need it to be to see well. And I guess there's some possibility that I don't have the lighting where it needs to be for you guys to see well either, but and since I am giving this away, rather than it staying on my layout, I'm trying my best here to make sure I don't screw it up.
I think they want more jokes.
Mm-hmm. There we go. Finally. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Jimbo. I appreciate it. Well, I guess I made a little bit of progress here on this project, but it's probably unlikely I'm going to get this completely assembled tonight, because we're getting on towards 7:30 here, 7:30 here, I should say. 3-camera setup. Yeah, I've got a 3-camera setup. I'm not. I kind of had to hack it together a little bit, but If you do watch if you do watch my videos, I do I do a lot of different angles on the camera work, and it is actually something that I really like to do. Um, give people a few different. And this came loose, so I got to fix this. Try and get the right angle. Try and be able to demonstrate what I'm doing well. Doesn't always work out. So yeah, I'm getting further along with this kit than Lynn has with the same kit or like kit. Is that Lynn a matter of motivation, or I seems unlikely it's a matter of skill? Um, and maybe that last 15 minutes I took to install um, the bits on the underframe, um, and well, in this piece on the body, that may be why other people don't do this. It doesn't really it doesn't really bother me. I know some people don't like that tediousness, but it is something that actually I find to be generally pretty relaxing, with the exception of dropping pieces on the floor. That's the tediousness that I do not like. And here's going to be another piece. This is going to be a challenge to get this brace here in the right spot, and particularly without screwing up everything else that I've got glued on here. There we go. Okay. So we can just get this to slip in. And what I'm sure you can't see is there's rails or kind of slots on either side that these are designed to go into. And getting those lined up is the part that is being rather problematic. And I may need to re-glue some of these bits once I get everything in. There it goes down. This is down and in place. Nothing horrible happened. I think it's in place. Does it need to go? This piece needs to go there. There we go. There we go. Just almost there. All right. I'm getting close on that. Been about a month since you've been through Denver. I like Denver. I've been here 25 years. And even though I grew up in Missouri, I don't know that I want to live anywhere else than here in Denver now. But, yeah, let's see. Oh, come on, show up for me. Yeah, oxygen is somewhat optional here, but I found that I've kind of grown used to it. I guess I don't need that much oxygen. What's the build date on the car? Let me look. 53. Yeah, 653 is what it says on the build date. So am I going to build a load for the hopper? Well, they're covered hoppers, so I don't know that I'm going to plan on doing a load in it because you wouldn't see it. But if you send me for the first place prize that I will paint and weather and all that sort of stuff, if you send me some guidelines about what you want, if you want it cement, if you want it grains, that sort of stuff, I certainly will add that stuff as part of the weathering. All right, so now that people know I'm in Denver, here is the question. How far away is the nearest dispensary? And the answer here in Denver is not that far, always. So there's a stretch of Broadway, probably 5 miles from my house, that I don't know if anybody else calls it this, but I call it the Green Mile because it's got, I think, a dispensary about 2 or 3 a block for about a mile. So, and you can smell it when you drive by. Sand-covered hoppers. Sure. Yep, exactly, Split Rock. This is a prize. So, if you watch my latest video, I announced this giveaway there. I bought these whenever I was not modeling the 1930s, and so they fit then, but they don't fit now. And I just kind of had them laying around. I thought they'd make a good prize for my giveaway. This is not wanting to pop in on this side. This is what always makes me a little bit nervous. There we go. Don't know if you could hear that one pop on that side. This one's still being a little bit stubborn. No. Denver is fine compared to Breck or Leadville for oxygen. That's so true. Although I'm not really even sure what the altitude is in Breckenridge. There we go. Come on.
Less than Alma.
So,
Lower than Alma.
yeah, it's. I don't know that it's much more than 7,000 when you're in town, of course. So. Yeah, Split Rock. I remember you talking about that on Discord up at Moffat Tunnel, and I looked that up whenever you were posting about it because I was like, I bet I've been there. I'm not quite sure, and I have. I mean, I was on a train when I was there, and the Moffat Tunnel, I guess, and you probably can. There we go. Did you guys hear that? Did you guys hear that snap? Finally got in there. Sweet. Okay. Trip up to Black Rock or Black Hawk and win $1 million. Unlikely. But yeah, the Moffat Tunnel I think it's got some historical relevance as cutting off. It saved I don't know what something like 100 miles going around the mountain. But the Amtrak that comes through Denver, called the California Zephyr, starts out in Chicago, and I think it goes to Oakland, maybe San Diego, goes all the way to California. But one of the popular trips to take is get on at Union Station, downtown Denver, and then take it up to Glenwood Springs. Glenwood Springs is an old tourist area. a hot springs area. So and really pretty drive. Amtrak does kind of those trains where they've got the big bubble on top, and you can sit up there, and it kind of takes you places that you don't get to see driving I-70. And it takes 6 hours, what would normally be about 2 hours in a car, but it's a really nice 6 hours. That part where Drew's working on in the snap, that's about the point where I say something and fling the car across the room. But this was a good snap. It wasn't the bad snap. It was the snap where the part snaps into place where it's supposed to go. And this piece is like, there we go. That's it. And I'll need to, it doesn't quite want to get there, so I'm going to need to put a little pressure on it while I cement it. But it should be good. And give that a little pressure and let it sit. And I did have a little bit of moving around on the parts that I put on the underframe before, the brake gears and the brake handle, so I'm going to have to get in there with the tweezers and fix that. So, let's see. You'll be the only modeler building a Frisco Leo and not the Rio Grande and narrow gauge. And yeah, Skokel, thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. See you around. But yeah, the Denver Rio Grande and Western, the narrow gauge. One of my mentors in high school, that was actually the one that really got me into, or kind of piqued my interest in model railroading, because he was the first one. All I had seen before is the guy that has the table in his the train table up in his attic or whatever, and it's just it's all flat and it just goes around in a circle, and there might be some stuff, that kind of thing. My mentor, he did narrow gauge, did his own hand laid track, all that sort of stuff, and he was fascinated with the Denver Rio Grande and Western, and that's what he did. So yep. I hear fast typing, Happy said. So yeah, I've got one of those mechanical keyboards that's all fancy and has lights on it, because again, we're all nerds here, right? Let me get this piece in. I'll get some glue on these joints and get them set. That would have sit down too. Get in there. Alright, I think that should be good. Now I can futz back with this guy and try and get that. Actually, I think it's sitting in the right spot. But the glue just came undone. Oh. Okay. Isn't Soundtrack in Durango? I think it's up Boulder area. And so, oh, it is Durango. Okay, yeah, it is in Durango. Okay. How far is Denver from Durango? What is it, hun? It's like, it's about a 3-hour drive to Durango. 4?
Hold please.
Yeah, my wife's looking it up. Oh, 8 hours, Container Man says. And of course, the truck driver would know. Yeah, I haven't been to Durango. There's other places I go, but
yeah, you can get there. It says 6 hours and 13 minutes if you go 285 to 160.
Oh, okay, 285 to 160.
But that's right now. There's no traffic.
Yeah, when am I going to visit the Colorado Model Railroad Museum? And I know we've got somebody on the Discord that is that's a volunteer there, and I haven't been there. And actually, what I should do is grab my niece and nephew, who are 5, almost 6 now, and take them to it. That would actually, because all of my kids are now really, I kind of have to drag them there. I could probably get Mimi to go, but and they would certainly be willing to go if I asked them, but we'll see. It's up in it's in Greeley. Okay. Yeah. There's also a really great just railroad museum in Golden too, and they have got just tons of old rolling stock. They've got a big that are in, and they repair them there. They do refurbishing and that sort of stuff there. They do they've got a big roundhouse, I think, with maybe like 8-10 slots in it, and they've got steam. So, but yeah. So yeah, 285 is nice. We got stuck there a while back, but it is nice. Coming back into town on the weekend, it's always it could be a little bit busy. So what's that?
Doesn't matter which way you go.
Yeah. We were camping in near Gunnison. No, not Gunnison. We were near Montrose, Colorado, at Black Canyon, the Gunnison, and there was no. We went Labor Day weekend. There was no way back. That was going to be fast, but 285 was the prettiest, so we chose that. So, well, folks, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. I didn't quite get done with the kit, and actually not even close, but I got to start on it. But I'll get that done for whoever wins the contest. But yeah, I should be having another video coming out here in a couple of weeks. I'm back working on the Kit Bash project. If you've been watching that series, this will be the second in the series. Working on a kit bash at some lumberyard and millworks. So I've gotten a little bit of start on that. I have a video coming out here in a couple of weeks on that. But thanks everybody for joining. Again, if you go and make a comment on one of my latest videos, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull all the comments here out of the live stream to put them as a contest. So yeah, but make a comment in the latest video or in the next one. I don't think I'm going to get to 2,000 before I have the next video out. Also new merch, brand new, just launched the store yesterday. Thank you, PK and Model Western. I appreciate the super chat there. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, check out the merch store. I got hats, shirts, hoodies, all that sort of stuff. The link's in the chat. So I appreciate it. Yeah. Yep. Thanks, Randall. Thanks for coming, guys. And we'll see you around. Appreciate it.